Episode 2, here we go. Welcome back to the 90% podcast. This is your host, Tyler Matthews. I appreciate you guys who tuned into episode 1 and gave us feedback on what you guys would like to hear, who you guys would like to see on here, and just the positive feedback we got was great to hear. Today, I'm joined by my right-hand man. He's on my left today, but he's my right-hand man on a daily basis, Terrence Shannon Sr. How you doing today, Terrence?
Man, doing good, Tyler, man. Appreciate you having me.
Absolutely. I appreciate you
Blessings.
being on this journey with me through life, the podcast, training, everything. So for those who don't know Terrence Shannon Sr., he's a former professional basketball player. He played 20 years of professional basketball in some of the top leagues all around the globe. He had a stunt in the NBA with the Pistons. He has multiple kids. 2 or 3 of his kids play basketball. One of them is one of the top basketball players in college right now at Illinois. He's repping the jersey right there. One of his other sons is one of the top players in Brevard County High School, and then the other one is in middle school. So, Terrence, I just want you to kind of give us a brief background on your life, your career, your achievements, and just tell those who don't know who you are about Terrence Shannon.
Well, appreciate you having me again. And first, I definitely got to let everybody know I do have 2 daughters as well. But my oldest, Taylor, she goes to the University of UIC in Chicago, and also my youngest daughter, Kalea, she's a freshman at UCF. And yes, my other 3 sons, they're doing great. Me, I'm just figuring things out right now. Like you said, just retiring a couple of years ago and playing so many years of basketball and traveling across the world. You know, now I'm grounded, and now it's joining you, Tyler. Of course, I've been a year right now since I've been working with you here at Fast Phenom, and it's been great.
We're just getting started.
Yes, training and developing kids. And it was a long path, and it was a tough, like usual, ups and downs, especially coming from the south side of Chicago, born and raised. Went to Thornwood High School, and from my freshman year of high school, I realized how tough it was to make basketball teams because, of course, I was cut. So from that point, you know, I just kept working. You know, being from Chicago, it's basketball world there.
Oh,
you know, so it's dog-eat-dog world. So if you're not playing basketball in Chicago, then you really got to try to figure something else out, especially being an athlete. But I didn't stop. I kept fighting. And eventually, my junior year, I made the team. So
that's a never give up story right there.
Man.
So you didn't make it your freshman and sophomore year?
Sophomore year, unfortunately, I was injured, but I didn't try out for the team. But, you know, you don't try out, you know, you don't make it either. But I wasn't able to because of an injury.
And so real quick, let's backtrack. When did you first pick up a basketball?
First picked up a basketball, I would say probably 6 years old.
6 years old. So you've played and been interested in basketball pretty much your entire life, right?
Yes, definitely. I had older cousins that played college basketball. My uncles played college basketball at DePaul University. So it's pretty much a basketball family as well.
And would you say that you've taken basketball very serious and competitively from the jump, or when would you say you started taking it serious?
I would say I started taking it more serious when I went to junior college.
Okay.
Even high school, it was no expectations from me. You know, nowadays everybody look at, oh, your dad's tall, you're gonna be tall, you need to play basketball. Like with me, it really wasn't like that. I really just grew up and figured it out. Like it was no AAU basketball, never played one day of AAU basketball. And for me, it was just being in Chicago, if you play basketball, either you're gonna be good or you're not. And like no, for real. And from right then and there, I kind of realized how serious it was when I got to junior college. A lot of people kept telling me, man, you can make it. And my first year, I was averaging 27 points a game out of high school. So I ended up being All-American that year, and I stayed another year, helped the team. The team didn't make the playoffs that year, unfortunately, but I stayed another year, was All-American again, and then once again, just being a typical Chicago kid, not listening, didn't go to school, didn't do my grade, wasn't making sure my grades was up to par, so I couldn't transfer anywhere. So that's one major thing that you always hear me talk about with the kids, you know, staying in school. You got to be a student athlete because I understand that. So after that, flash forward another year from just staying at home doing nothing, went to a basketball camp. And it's funny because the same guy who camp I went to actually commentates my son games at Illinois, Steve Bartle.
Small world.
Yeah,
It's
so
a small, big world.
yes, I went to Steve Bartle camp doing the same week as Moody Bible, which is the Chicago draft camp all the time for the NBA, and I performed and started playing pro since 2000.
So in between junior college and your pro career, you're saying you took a year and a half
meant
off?
a year off just doing nothing, just Chicago could be kind of like you say Crab City, it's gangland, so it's a lot of different ties you could have with Chicago that could hold you down, but unfortunately I had a good supporting cast still around me to help push me in the right direction. So after sitting out a year and just constantly eating at my grandma's house, my uncle got tired and said, "I'm finna call an agent." And it's just strange that way. He went to the Yellow Pages, which a lot of kids won't know what the Yellow Pages is right now. Called the agent. I went to camp, and from that point, since 2000, I played all the way from 2000 all the way, I could say, to 2020.
Wow. And that's rare. Well, two things are rare. One, it's rare to take time off from basketball and then get back into it. I hear of a lot of kids who graduate high school and say they're taking an off year, and then they're going to look to pursue JUCO or find a college scholarship they think they're going to take that year to work out. But it's really tough to go from playing on a team and being in an organized basketball environment to taking a year by yourself and then actually being able to get back into it. So that's what's rare, number one. And then what's rare, number two, is having a 20-year pro career, right? I think a lot of kids, pretty much every kid that's playing basketball, football, whatever sport it is, they want to play professional, but they don't realize the average pro career, I think, is less than 3 years, right? You see the guys like LeBron, Dwayne Wade, and guys like this who have 20-year careers, but the majority of people are in and out, whether that's due to injuries, not being able to stay focused. So it's really shows how much of a professional you were to be able to have a 20-year career in multiple different countries, right?
Yeah, it takes a lot of discipline, like a lot of discipline. And a lot of times being overseas, I see a lot of players fail is really they can't adapt to the culture. It's like, again, and me even coming from Chicago, like the south side of Chicago, it's all black people. It's all African. So when you going abroad, it's tough for some people because you only used to one culture. Just like being in different countries. Whether you from Europe, whether you from Italy or France, or if you're just being around one culture and now you're totally off and you fly out and you run a different culture, it's tough for some people.
Yep.
And not that they're not talented, you just mentally you're not prepared.
90%, right? We call this the 90% podcast, right? And so, and a lot of people to that point don't like getting outside of their comfort zone, right? They get so caught in their comfort zone that getting outside of it even just slightly is scary to them, right? Which is understandable. So let's dive into just your pro career overall. So right out of college, were you in the NBA draft, or how did that pro career start?
I was actually in the CBA draft. It was the Continental Basketball Association. It was the original professional league that the NBA called players up before the D League started in 2001, which is now the G League. So then, I played there, and that year actually was the first year Isaiah Thomas actually took over the team from the Detroit Pistons.
Oh, wow.
And
he was your coach, or
he was
owner?
He was the owner of the league. He took over the league that same year. And that year also, it opened a lot of, like, I want to say, it brought my attention to on the process on how a lot of Division I players went about things too. Because I played that year with a lot of top Division I players. Ed Cota was my roommate from the University of North Carolina. And knowing then, like, I didn't know nothing about prep school, So when I went there, all these guys is 24 years old, 25 years old. And I'm like, how's that possible? You just graduated from college, So they like, well, we went to prep school for a year or two.
And then had their 4 years in college.
Had 4 years of college. So, and this is back in 96, 97. So, from them able to go to prep school in 96, 97, that'll help accelerate your game and everything as well, too. So I didn't know a lot about that. So being around that era and them guys, my rookie year, around a lot of ex-NBA players, a lot of guys from that, it helped me drive more and actually want more as well.
Sweet. And so that was called the CBA?
CBA, yeah.
Got it. And then, so that was pretty much the feeder league to the NBA?
Yes, it was the NBA's minor league, basically, and that was the only league that NBA, they was calling players
Pulling
up
players
from,
up. Got
unless they brought somebody from overseas, but that was it, the CBA.
Okay, and then so what was your time with the Pistons? Was it a tryout? Was it?
I was with the Pistons in the preseason of 2005 after they won a championship.
Okay.
So I played in the CBA for 2 years. Then I transferred over to the NBA D League. Played there for 3 years. And the year I won a championship with the Asheville Altitude in 2005, that was the same year that I went with the Detroit Pistons. I was in the summer league with the Memphis Grizzlies prior to that, and I had a chance to go there. And it was an opportunity. Fortunately, I actually partially tore my quadricep. Partially tore my quadricep in the middle of training camp. So I was out for a week or two. Then, of course, you know how that go. It's got to get your cardio back up.
Oh, yeah.
So I ended up playing a couple of games, but I still wasn't the same player I was from when I first started. Understandably, they gave me the opportunity, got a chance to still play a couple of preseason games in the NBA, and I actually did sign a contract. So, it benefited me going overseas, and a lot of people opened up a lot more eyes to people to know that I can go
absolutely.
overseas and
Yeah,
play.
no, just having that NBA tag will help you anywhere.
No,
right?
definitely.
And so, what countries did you play in overseas? Just name a few.
South Korea, played in Israel, Spain,
Puerto Rico,
Argentina, a lot of other countries. I could just keep going. Lebanon, Lebanon,
What was
Panama.
Let me ask you this: what was your favorite part of your pro career? Is there something, if you think back to, obviously 20 years is a very long time. Sometimes I can't even remember what happened this morning or yesterday, but if you could just think of one memory, what was like the highlight or the best time of your career?
I'm gonna give you two.
Okay.
All right. Definitely when I was drafted, I was the number 1 draft pick for the KBL draft in 2007.
Is KBL
the Korean Basketball League? It was a lot of players there, a lot of Division I players there, and when they called my name first, it was a
that's big time.
yeah. It was like, man, this is everything that I worked for.
Yeah.
And I was MVP that year too. So rightfully so, I was the number 1 draft pick, but I was also the MVP of the league that year as well.
Put your money where your mouth is.
Exactly, right. And then, and also winning my first championship in Puerto Rico. I played there for 11 years, and when the work I put in the championships that I lost there to pick up my first championship there in that league, where a lot of people accept me there, as really a native, like that.
The culture down there, I went there last year. Is just crazy how serious they take basketball and just the culture. Like if you go to an NBA game, if it's the playoffs, maybe the arena is rocking, but down there it can be a regular season game and the fans are packing it
exactly
out, and they're cheering for everybody.
Right. Between there, Puerto Rico, and Korea, that fan base. It's really unbelievable.
It'll keep the love for the game up.
Yes.
And so what team did you win a championship with in Puerto Rico?
I won a team with Ponce. I played there for 2 years actually. And they brought me in. I hurt myself in the middle of the year. Then I came back. Actually, I came back for game 1 of the finals. And man, that when a lot of people saw me come back, they couldn't believe it as well too, But man, I was like, no, I'm finna come back and help you win this championship, and I needed that one. That championship meant a lot to me in Puerto Rico, and playing with Ponce and a lot of other teams. I played several years with other teams there as well. So there, winning that really meant a lot to me there.
Awesome. All right, let's shift this a little bit from your pro career, and we'll probably get back to that. We have time, so. Let's transfer over to the NBA a little bit. What's your opinion on the current state of the league, of the NBA? Do you like what you see? Do you not like what you see? Do you think it's headed in the right direction? What are your thoughts?
As far as, it's always going to be talent. No matter what, no matter year after year after year, it's going to be talent. It's going to be people compared to. I like for the NBA to get a little bit more, back to a little bit more physical, a little bit more tougher, a little bit more accountability on defense. It's a lot of offense, and everybody's going to see the offense, and it's great to see. It's a lot of great players, a lot of great talent now. But I think now you see a lot of more scoring. You see 140-point games and regular 12-minute games. And to me, how we teach the youth, it's two sides of the ball, offense and defense.
We're not seeing that in the NBA
at all. No, we're always seeing is offense in the NBA.
Yep.
And they start say, they can start playing defense in the playoffs. No, you got to start playing defense from day one.
Yep.
Because again, that's how you separate yourself, and then that's how some players even get jobs playing defense. So I think it's NBA is always going to be in a great state because it's so globally now. It's so global now. You done had MVP of the league, not even from the United States, the last 4 or 5 years. So it's moving in the right direction, but I just think one thing that it need to happen is just a little bit more physical and focus a little bit more on defense.
Yeah, no, for sure. It'll make it more competitive throughout the entire season. And I think the thing a lot of people don't realize is basketball changes, in my opinion, right, from high school and college to the NBA, right?
Yeah.
Even overseas basketball compared to the NBA, a lot of times is different. The NBA is an entertainment league. It's a business, right? And obviously it's basketball and they're competing, but there's things behind it that have to get taken care of, I think, that changes the game because it is crazy in my eyes that obviously the game is longer, the court is bigger. We can argue that stuff, but college games, we're not seeing 130-point games, right? And then in the NBA, we are.
Right.
And so that is a little crazy. All right, so let's keep this moving. Let's talk off-court life a little bit. What are your hobbies and interests? And I know this is a crazy question because every time that I talk to you, you're in the gym, whether it's here or with ECU or with Rockledge, you're coaching. Your passion is basketball, right? And I put that post out, I think it was yesterday, that you won't find anybody more passionate about basketball, right? And so, but let's just say you had to say something. What are your hobbies and interests outside of basketball?
Well, I definitely like to watch sports. Definitely enjoy watching my kids play. Again, like you said before, I got a son playing college basketball, another one playing high school basketball, another one playing middle school basketball. So I did put the post out, too. In the next 5-6 years, we're going to challenge the Ball brothers. But I enjoy golfing. I like the golf.
Okay.
I enjoy spending time with my family and friends. My wife, Kalani. Of course, my mom, she lives here in Florida with me as well. And me, I like the beach. Of course, we're in Florida, so being in Florida, you gotta love the beach.
Oh yeah, we haven't been to the resort in a month or so.
It's getting warm. We gotta go check it
out. Get back out there.
But other than that, I mean, basketball is my life. So again, if I'm not playing, if I'm not coaching it, all my sons are playing. So it's year-round basketball. Other than that, just generally watch sports, just relax, pretty much.
Absolutely. Cool. All right, we'll go maybe 5 more minutes. Does that sound good?
Yeah, so no problem.
Sweet.
Definitely.
So let's talk about training now, right? So you played pro 20 years, retired. Now you're a trainer, right? We train alongside each other. We're building Fast Phenom as a team. We have a pretty good team coming together with Zach behind the camera, me, myself, Tyler. We got Terrence. We got Earl, and we're growing. We have 2 gyms right now. But one thing that I think is one of our strengths and that I tell people about on a regular basis is that we all have different we have a curriculum that we follow, but we all have different styles, right? Different training styles. And so how would you describe your style as a trainer or coach?
I would say everything that I coach, I try to coach to where it'll be an in-game scenario or where they'll be able to transfer it to an in-game scenario. Of course, to me, you can never get enough ball handling. Ball handling as a kid, you can never get enough ball handling.
Got to be able to take care of the ball.
Yeah, you got to be able to take care of balls. If you're a guard, you got to be able to handle the basketball. After that, a lot of people don't understand what basketball, a lot of time what basketball is read and react and effort. So if you're not training with effort or working out with effort, it's kind of hard to translate that to the game as well.
Absolutely.
You know,
You can't practice at 50% and expect to play at 100.
exactly. And I try to remind everybody that it also takes time.
Patience.
You know, yes, you got to be patient with this game because, again, it might not come when you expect it. But if you keep working, if you keep driving, if you keep watching it outside of when you around, they're not around us. It'll come full circle. So with me, and you also have to be a student athlete. So just coming full circle, I like to teach, reading, reacting, how to play unselfish basketball. A lot of people just think basketball is about scoring when everybody got their roles. You got a lot of scorers in the NBA, but they got roles. They was scorers when they was kids and when they was in high school and stuff, but now you have a role.
Absolutely.
So again, just when we training the kids, I just want to teach them everything full circle, off the court habits, in court habits, how to be a professional, I tell them a lot of times, it's hard for me to teach you how to be a high school basketball player or a middle school basketball player because I barely played it. So I could teach you how to be a professional. And if I could teach you how to be a professional, everything else under
it trickles
that,
down. Absolutely.
yes, exactly.
Yep, you'll be fine. No, I love that.
And that's my main thing. From whether you're a professional all the way to you're 6 years old, I'm teaching you how to be a professional.
Yep. No, it's how you carry yourself, right? How you do anything is how you do everything. So I love that. Let's keep flowing through this. Let's see. There was something that you just said I was going to make a point on. I can't remember it, though, so we'll move past that.
What about you? What's going on? Like how's life going with you right now?
Oh, thought you'd never ask. No, I'm just kidding. Life is good. I'm having a kid, so got the kid on the way.
Yes, blessings. Yes, man. It's not going to be another better feeling than that, too. I'm telling you.
Oh, yeah.
I did it 5 times.
I got some catching up to do.
Man, yes. And yes, it's that. But for real, and having kids, it drives you, too. And me playing overseas, and, of course, 2 of my kids in Chicago, my other 3 down here, it was a challenge as well, too. Just being gone. Because literally from 2000 to in 2016, I was literally gone out the States 8 to 10 months out the year. So with kids in school, as being a professional, and there's a lot of professionals besides basketball that travel as well. You got to balance that out.
Yep.
And
that work-life balance.
Yes, and I had to grow on that, and learn from that, and still doing it right now, with all my kids all over the place right now. But definitely, when you do have them kids, it help you drive you more and help you want to pursue more opportunity as well.
Oh yeah, I'm excited. I'm really excited, and I have good mentors around me. You're one of them to show me the way as far as the parenting side goes. So
changing diaper change.
No, that's gonna be Jamie's job. So let's do a speed round real quick, all right? I'm going to ask you just a few different questions really fast, and I want just quick answers, all right? Mm-hmm. What's your favorite restaurant?
Roof Chris.
Okay, all right. Have you been there recently or not recently?
I've been there, not recently. I plan on going there, but let me tell you something. And it is an upscale restaurant, but if I could choose any restaurant to go to and eat all the time, it'll definitely be Roof Chris.
Right, Roof Chris, we need that sponsorship. First podcast sponsor. All right, we're going fast on these. My bad. So we got favorite restaurant, favorite NBA and NFL team.
Chicago Bulls and the San Francisco 49ers.
Uh-oh, okay. They're still in it, right?
Yes.
Are you predicting a Super Bowl?
Definitely.
All right.
Yes, Eagles. They in our way right now, so we got to get them up out of there.
If you had to pick one country to live in and raise your kids besides the U.S., where would it be?
South Korea.
South Korea, okay. Jordan or Kobe?
If this was drink champs, we'd be taking out.
Jordan, all right. One-on-one with your son, Terrence Shannon Jr., TJ, who's at Illinois right now. Who's winning one-on-one, you or TJ, right now?
Me.
Okay, I like it.
One game?
One game.
One game right now? Me.
TJ, you hear that? I hope that you take that personal. We need it next time you're in town. They do call you longevity, though, so I'm not doubting you. Let's see. I think that's good for the speed round right there. All right, and then let's wrap this up. What are your current and let's more talk future. I know kind of currently we're working on building Fast Phenom together. What are your future plans in basketball training and coaching?
I would love to be a college basketball coach.
Okay. I like that.
Like really, I would love to coach college basketball and really help train and mentor them athletes to prepare them for the next level. It's not enough. I don't think it's not enough of that. It's never enough of that, especially genuine coaches who really care about these players on and off the court. But definitely, I would love to be a college basketball coach, but also, and first and foremost, just I want to be basketball is my life, so I would love to just continue to train athletes and help them grow until I can't anymore.
Sweet.
Like I'm one of them guys who you will see 80-year-olds in the gym still talking
in
to
the
guys.
wheelchair.
Like, come on, let's go. But yes, definitely.
Sweet. What's your message to aspiring basketball players? We have, I know there's parents listening to this, there's kids listening to this, so honestly, I want to hear your message to both. If we could let's start with parents, because I think you do one of the best jobs that I've seen. Obviously, your kids are great at basketball, but the thing that I think a lot of people don't see that I get to because I'm close with you guys is how much you talk about the respectfulness, them being good in school. A lot of your kids have a 4.0 GPA, right? And so what is your message to aspiring parents of basketball or parents of aspiring basketball players, of basketball players that want to have a college career or a pro career? What's your message to the parents of those athletes?
Please be patient. Like, again, a lot of times parents want more for their kids than what their kids want. And it comes in time where you got to allow the kid to grow. And if you're too hard on your kid, then they won't grow in the time frame that they probably need to grow, because you could either be putting too much pressure on them and that can stop their growth, or you're not pushing them hard enough.
So it's a fine line right there. You got to find that balance.
Yeah, you got to find the balance. But regardless of which one it is, I would say even if you're pushing them, just don't push them as hard. You got to allow them to figure things out, and don't live through them. Some of you probably wanted to be this professional athlete, or you might have had the opportunity, but due to injury or whatever, it didn't happen. So allow your kid to still find their way. Basketball might not be for them. Both my sons, they both play football. TJ literally was going to play football. He was going to stop playing basketball his senior year. And now he's playing
at the highest level.
Yeah, at the highest level right now. So T-Man's the same way. I love T-Man playing football, but at the same time, he made his choice to stop playing football, which he was good in, and pursue basketball. My daughters, they didn't like basketball. They chose what they need to do, and all I did was support them, and that's the main thing. Support your kids, and if they do want to do it, if they are passionate about it, support them, push them, go watch them practice, go to them games. Like, again, me, like I said before, traveling, I missed a lot of that too with my older kids because I was traveling so much, and it's nothing like actually being there and actually watching the game after game and steady, talking with them and critiquing them, and loving them. So be patient, love them, hug them, and please don't make them think that it's sports or nothing. You still got to be a student athlete. There's other great occupations out there for the kids to doctors, lawyers, engineers, construction workers. So don't think that if you are playing a sport and it don't happen to you for you to be professional too, it's not the end of the world as well.
No, I love that. I love that message, because I think there's kids out there that maybe feel that pressure and maybe they tie in their performance or their success in their sport with their parents' love for them.
Right.
And to me, those are two completely separate things, and I think it's easy as a parent to make. And I'm not a parent yet, right? I can only speak from what I see from the outside looking in. That sometimes maybe parents forget to keep those things separate, and just because your kid has a bad game doesn't mean you treat them different or anything like that. You talk to them about it, you support them, you help them through it. If they want to get some extra work in, you do that. But no matter what, whether they play good or play bad, they know that you love them, they have your support, and even if they quit the sport, you're gonna have their back through life, right?
Yes, right.
Because I think, personally talking, I think that was one of the things that maybe I never said out loud, but growing up, I don't know if I felt pressure from my parents because I love basketball and I've always loved basketball, but I think it was a thing where I think my parents had high standards for me. I had high standards for myself, and if I didn't play good, I was thinking, oh, what do they think of me, right? And so, but they did a great job of always letting me know that basketball or not, they got my back, right?
Oh, but I met your dad. No, definitely. Definitely, man, great guy, man. And just one more thing, I definitely want to give us shout out to my mom, Minnie, I love you, and also to the guy who also, in the process, I know it was a short, but who also helped change my life basketball-wise as well, Steve Pratt, who I was telling you, my guy, Full Package Athletics up in Chicago. If it wasn't for him a lot, too, who brought me in and took me under his wing and really turned me into a professional, I still wouldn't be to where I'm at today right now as well.
Awesome. And so that was our message to parents. Now, if you had to give your message to aspiring basketball players, let's say we're talking to, it can be either a 10-year-old or somebody that's already playing D1 college basketball, ready to make that transition into their pro career. What's your message to any aspiring basketball players?
Never give up. As John Cena say. No, for real, because it's easy to give up, it's easy to quit. And one thing that I know, it's always gonna be hard times. You might think you know this coach real good. You might have seen him coaching for years, but then when you finally play for him, it's different, you know. But sometimes a lot of players quit because of who the coach is, instead of really figuring out or talking with the coach or analyzing things with the coach. And one thing about all athletes, and I tell them, have a relationship with your coach. Because
Absolutely.
having a relationship with your coach is very big with your progress in the sport and also in life. If you don't have a relationship with the coach, it's hard to judge things and it's hard to figure things out. You know, and that's what I see a lot now. A lot of kids they want their parents to ask the questions that they need to ask. You know, and as a player, be firm and always communicate with your coach. And when you communicate with your coach, I tell you, doors will open up more and you'll be able to really understand more on what your goal is for that moment and also for the future.
Love it. Love it. All right, so we'll wrap this up. For those who listened all the way through, again, we thank you. This podcast is brand new. Again, this is called the 90% Podcast, and the reason behind that is hopefully you took away some points that help the mental side of the game, right? It's easy to get caught up in the day-to-day physical workouts, which are obviously needed. The 10% is needed. Without the 10%, the 90% doesn't really mean anything. You have to go out and do it, but the 90% is making sure you're building up your mind, building up the knowledge, building up your mental capacity for the game of basketball and the game of life. All right, so we touched on a lot of points today. Terrence's pro career, Terrence's off-court parenting, basketball, future goals, everything like that. And I think this was a really fun episode. Obviously, this is only our second episode, but this was probably my favorite one. No offense, Zach, that maybe a tie with you. The one by myself, well, actually, no, the one by myself was the introduction episode, so that one was cool. But talking to you guys is fun, so either a tie or Terrence might have you one-upped. But we're going to get Zach back on again, so he may one-up you. But, again, thank you, everybody, for listening. Terrence, do you have any final thoughts or anything that you want to say as we exit this podcast?
If you're passionate about basketball and you're in the community, Brevard County, definitely check out Fast Phenom.
That's a wrap. See you guys on the next episode. Thank you.